So I'm going to start with the casting and how you found. You have a beautiful voice, so I want to find out, how you found Daniela and the inspiration. Was she the inspiration, or was there another story that was the inspiration for the film?
She was the inspiration, but we first had the anecdote, like the question, what would happen if the person you love dies in your arms, and your arms are somehow the worst place for that person to die, because for some reason you are the unwanted, the rejected one. And then we started to explore different ideas, and suddenly the idea of making this story happen around a transgender woman popped up. And we felt that we had to stop writing and meet some women. And I wasn't living in Santiago, I live in Berlin, so I was a bit detached from what was going on. And I felt the need to meet who was out there. And they recommended us to meet Daniela. They said, you have to meet Daniela. She's a lyrical singer, she has acting experience, she's fantastic. And I called her, but I didn't know if I wanted to make the film back then. I was exploring, and I was looking for a consultant, like a cultural advisor. And then Dani, and then we met, and that was it. I mean, I was like absolutely touched by Dani, and we talked like for a couple of hours, and then we became Skype friends, and we kept working for a year. And suddenly I realized I wanted to make the film. I was not going to make it without a non-transgender actor or actress. And then somewhere in the middle of the writing process, I realized that she was the one, that she was Marina. So it was a very organic process. So when we had the first draft, we sent it to Dani and invited her to be Marina, and she said yes.
That's great. And for Daniela, so in this process, did you realize before you were offered the part that this was your part?
Primeramente quiero agradecer a todos y cada uno de ustedes que están aquí esta noche, que es tarde ya y que estamos compartiendo esta experiencia de vivir el arte.
The first thing that I would like to do is to thank everybody for being here tonight and to share this wonderful experience, artistic experience tonight. I know it's really late, but I'm very grateful for that.
Al inicio, yo sabía que estaba solo participando en un proceso de aportar a un proyecto que no sabía yo bien de qué se trataba.
At the beginning, I knew that I was just taking part in a project that I really didn't know what it was really about.
Y después de que iniciamos este proceso de hablar y hablar y hablar acerca de qué era para mí y según lo que yo veo en la vida, qué significa ser una persona trans en el mundo más que en Chile, nunca creí que Sebastián estaba creando una película para mí.
And it's true that I had been sharing a lot of information about myself, about my life as a transgender woman, but I didn't really know where he was really going to go with all of this. I didn't know that he was going to be writing a movie where I was going to be playing the main role.
Y un día él me envía el guión y cuando yo lo leo no me lo pude creer.
And one day he sent me the script, and to be honest with you, I couldn't believe it.
Entonces lo llamé por teléfono a Alemania porque él vivía ahí.
So I called him in Germany because he was living there at the time.
Y le dije, Sebastián, te volviste loco.
And then I told him, you're totally crazy.
Y él así, muy natural, me dice, no, 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 yo creo que no estoy loco, creo que estoy seguro que tú puedes hacer este personaje.
And, you know, he told me very confident in himself that he didn't think that he was crazy. He was actually confident that I could play this role.
Ok.
And then I was like, okay.
Y dije que sí.
And then, of course, I say yes.
Y luego agarré mi cartera,
And then I got my purse.
me fui de fiesta 3 días.
And I went partying for 3 days.
Y cuando se me acabó la resaca, empezamos a trabajar.
And after the hangover, we started working.
That's great. So, I mean, you definitely, you know, certainly with a couple of your films, and the last two, you've gravitated towards these films about women and these strong characters and dealing with women in love and relationships that sometimes don't work out as they hope they would. But it's such a great love story. So I'm very curious. I'd love to know more about what draws you towards these stories about women as the lead characters.
I don't know. I mean, it's connect the dots if you look backwards. But as you're moving forward, you're following an intuition. And in my case, I suddenly found this like source of great emotion and inspiration coming from these stories about women. And I don't know why, really. I guess femininity, it's menaced in the world. Not only, I mean, even within masculinity, it's everything. It's in a fragile position, and it has to be probably, explored, defended, celebrated. There's something going on there. I cannot put it into words. I can put it in a film. But this is like, people when they are looking for water with two little wooden sticks, and then they stop and they say, here. It's the same. I mean, there was something about meeting Daniela that was like, click. It sounded challenging and full of potential, with the capacity of resonating with so many things that we are going through, and at the same time full of dangers, like so many traps that you can fall into. So it seemed like a great cinematic challenge. I guess that's the way of not answering your question.
There's some answers in there. I think there is also what I really love about the story and the narrative as well is the sense of hope with the envelope and the hope and the holding on to the possibility of a future that could have been, that might have been, and then the resiliency that she shows when at the end she finds the strength to go back and follow her passion. And so as you crafted that narrative, did you think about alternative endings, or were you always clear on that through line?
No. It's I mean, writing is a process. It's a very strange process, and you have bits and pieces, and then you somehow put them together, and some things get lost forever, and some things made their way to the final version of the script. In this case, I always knew that she needed to end up singing. Mm-hmm. I guess I like these endings that are at the same time uplifting, but not only happy. They are complex. You're feeling something that is, mingled feelings. Mm-hmm. It's not only, I guess it's a sense of victory, but embracing all the complexities, and But for example, in my script, Marina was singing a popular song, not a lyrical song or aria. And Danny is a lyrical singer, so she was like, I cannot sing popular. And I was like, Danny, you will learn how to drive, fly, dance. I mean, you will learn, and I will, you will have teacher. And she was like, no, I won't. And we tried, and it wasn't working. And we were like 2 weeks away from shooting, and Danny came one day to my office, dramatically, closed the door, and sang an aria to me, and I was like, okay, go away. I need to rewrite, And that's why the character is a lyrical, is a salsa singer that aspires to be a lyrical singer because Danny brought that to the film. And it's very stubborn.
Were there other moments like that Daniela brought, or in ways in which she transformed a little bit the story, or where you had taken it or originally written it to be?
Yeah, because at some point in the writing process, I came across with the idea of, wow, I'm making a film about a transgender woman, and why not making a transgenre film? So a trans film, so the film not only poses the question, what is a woman, but the film itself poses the question, what is a film? So the idea of identity is not only, explored within the character, but within the film itself as a cinematic device. And that's why the film oscillates between, different genres. We have the same word in Spanish. Genre and gender are called género. So it's a transgénero film. So it's romantic. It's a ghost story. It's a social movie. It's a cause film. It's a musical. It's it's all of that together and nothing separately. So this idea of like a Trojan horse. You're seeing a film that seems super classical, but has something within that is not classical at all. And I think that I owe her that to Dani, because she was in our conversations. I was trying to catch up with her own beauty and complexity, and I was like, I need to create a device that can be at the same level, so to say. If that makes any sense.
Very much so. And for you, Daniela, as performing in this role that you knew had aspects of your own life and pieces of stories, how did that feel? Did it feel like you were sometimes reliving or replaying parts of your own memory, or were you able to completely separate the character from your own life?
Es una película, no un documental. Una película, no es un documental.
It's a movie, not a documentary.
Y como película hay un proceso de creación de personaje que está junto a mí en el cuerpo, pero separado de mí en la experiencia.
So we are basically in this movie creating a character which is close to me, in the sense that is close to me in a bodily experience, but at the same time is separated from me, from my own experience.
Y los procesos de violencia que vive Marina los podría vivir cualquier persona en el mundo. Cualquiera puede ser discriminado alguna vez, cualquiera puede enamorarse alguna vez, cualquiera puede morirse un día sin pensar que podría morir ese día.
And all the experiences that Marina actually goes through in the movie are experiences that any individual, any human being could experience in his or her lifetime. Be it the violence, be it the love that she feels, any experience you can imagine.
Y de alguna forma lo que nosotros hicimos fue imprimir lo que sentimos cuando vemos violencia, más que intentar buscar una respuesta de lo que es la violencia o de qué es el rechazo o de qué es lo imposible, lo que intentamos fue preguntarnos por qué ese rechazo, por qué esa violencia, por qué eso imposible.
So basically, through this film, what we are trying to do is to make people raise questions about why is rejection happening, why is discrimination happening, why is violence happening.
Y esa diferencia entre lo que es y entre lo que es y por qué es, ¿no? Puede sonar un poco, puedo explicarlo de nuevo. Esa diferencia entre lo que uno siente y tratar de explicar por qué estamos sujetos a esa sensación es lo que la película es, una gran pregunta.
So I think the movie in general is just a big question between what you feel as a person and why you have those feelings as a person.
Por lo tanto, Marina siente y camina por un lugar que hemos recorrido muchísimas personas y no se trata de cuánto de mi vida hay en el personaje, sino que cuánto de la vida de todos nosotros hay en ese personaje.
And you know, Marina, she's walking on a path that every single one of us is walking every single day. So I think the question is not about how much I can see myself in her, but how much every single one of us can see ourselves in her.
So with that, I think about, again, the ending and the ghost and the resolution, the sort of the way in which, you know, despite all of the violence and the rejection by the family, that she's able to find that strength, which is very inspiring, and get to that beautiful moment. I'd love to hear, you know, your thoughts on and utilizing that aspect of a ghost to draw, because it's a really beautiful moment, the leading into this when she's not allowed to go to the ceremony and finds this magic way, this magic realism that enters the story to enable her to come to peace and to move on. So can you talk about incorporating that device?
Well, I guess it's part of the things that this idea of making a trans-genre film offered. So suddenly we could handle having a ghost, you know, and not only Marina facing the wind in a, like Buster Keaton, you know, or flying towards the camera like in a Babsy Berkeley film, but a ghost as well. And I guess I really love melodrama, you know, and I think it's a very noble genre. And in a certain way, this was such an opportunity for me as a filmmaker to explore unknown territories, but put together so many things I love. This was just a perfect opportunity for that. So what was really challenging was to make all that work and all those directions in which the film operate to become one, even though it's a film that is expanding in a way that is polymorphic, you know. But I guess that's what's contemporary about the film. It's not this or that. It's oscillating. Its own identity is oscillating, and it makes, and Marina looks directly into the lens several times, looking at you, asking you, what do you see? You know, what do you see in me? I guess the film is not trying to define her, but to create a certain void that can be fulfilled by the spectator's own projections, fears, and fantasies or desires. And that's could be a definition of cinema for me. Another way to not answering your question.
No, there are definitely sort of hints to the answer there, and your films have such great music in them. I'd love to hear you talk about the choices, some of the song choices, both of you, the song choices, the lyrics, and where those songs were placed in the film and why.
Well, I love music in films. I enjoy it immensely, and in this case, the character is a musical character. She loves music. She's a singer, so it just was very natural to have the character singing songs, and it was great fun and a great source of pleasure to find those musical pieces and to put them together. And then find the other moments where you can hear music coming from the radios or some other devices, and that's one level. And then there is the score, which is like, this is the first film where I make a proper score, like with a great musician that I admire, Matthew Herbert, a British musician. And it was recorded in Abbey Road, and it was like, okay, a score, and yeah, I always felt that because of the genre-driven nature of the film, it needed to be, it needed to have that flavor, of that classic flavor, classical. Like I remember saying to Matthew, we need a score where like Bernard Herrmann meets Henry Mancini, and it was great. I mean, it was great fun to come to that result, and Matthew was very generous and very. I mean, I think he made a beautiful score, and I think it elevated the film into a very interesting level, and it is one of the elements that glues everything, that puts everything together, the music.
And for you, Daniela, having performing songs, the music, and different styles of music in the film, did you feel that at times that the songs helped you find those moments in your character that were needed in the scene, in the narrative, at that place and time?
Las arias de ópera o las canciones que aparecen en la película, como dices tú, ayudaron a que Marina pudiese encontrar.
So the songs that appear in the movie help Marina to find
Pudiesen encontrar de pronto lugares que a lo mejor sin la música podría haber sido más difícil de encontrar.
places that you couldn't find probably without the music.
Pero como Sebastián dice, Marina es un personaje musical, entonces necesita ese pulso, necesita ese ritmo que le va diciendo dónde moverse como instintivamente.
So, like Sebastián said, Marina is a musical character, so she needs the music to tell her where to go next, to find her gut instinct as well.
Pero es muy interesante porque las arias de ópera, las canciones que suenan en la película, no están ahí porque sean solo bonitas.
But the interesting thing about this is that the songs that you hear, that you listen to during the movie, they're not just there because they're beautiful from a musical standpoint.
Están ahí porque significan algo, porque son un símbolo de que eso que suena tiene un subtexto, algo que va más allá de lo que solamente se puede escuchar.
They're actually there because they stand for something else, something beyond whatever you can listen to, whatever you can hear.
Y tiene que ver con esa sensación transgénero que habla Sebastián, porque las arias que suenan en la película pertenecen al barroco.
And it actually has something to do with the transgender comments that Sebastián was making about before, that he was referring to earlier, because what you actually hear, the music that you're hearing in the movie, it comes from the Baroque period.
Y en esa época solamente los hombres podían cantar y las mujeres no podían hacerlo. Y había hombres que cantaban como mujeres porque las mujeres no podíamos cantar ópera en ese momento.
And that was a period in history, where only men could actually sing.
Y entonces es más que una revancha del tiempo, es como una vuelta de favor del tiempo. De decir, antes no sabemos bien por qué, pero ahora podemos hacer tantas cosas,
So we basically caught up with time. Right now we can do so many things.
podemos ir a la luna, podemos curar enfermedades,
We can go to the moon, we can cure diseases,
podemos hacer películas,
we can make movies,
podemos hacer llorar,
we can make people cry,
podemos hacer reír.
we can make people laugh.
¿Cómo no vamos a poder comunicarnos?
How can we not communicate?
¿Cómo no vamos a poder confiar el uno en el otro?
How can we not trust each other?
¿Cómo no vamos a poder entender que la vida es una oportunidad
How can we not understand that life is a once in a lifetime opportunity
y puedes destruirlo todo tan rápido,
and you can destroy everything so quickly,
pero puedes construir también
but you can build as well?
y puedes tener una pirámide ahí por muchos miles de años más? Puedes tener una pirámide construida ahí por muchos, muchos, muchos siglos.
And you can actually build a pyramid and it can be there for so many centuries.
Y eso depende de nosotros,
And all of that depends on us.
de nadie más.
It doesn't depend on anyone else.
Well, there's an incredible amount of trust, clearly, between the actress and the director, the actor and the director always. And, you see that on the screen. The script is so strong. Your performance, Daniela, is really incredible. Beautiful performance. Thank you. So thank you both for the trust you had in each other in creating this beautiful film.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for the beautiful applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.